guys, welcome back to Tiffany Tells Testimonies podcast. Say that 5 times fast. Good luck. We are back live. I was thinking about it. Eventually I will probably get some type of jingle, but there's no point in doing a jingle when you could just freestyle. A song comes to mind. Let me just go tell it on the mountain, over the hills, and everywhere go. Tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ was born. Amen. Hallelujah. Okay, you're welcome. So, back to the message at hand. We are back, season 2. Thank you guys for who have already watched the first episode, commented, or even liked it. Please let me know what you think. I am open to constructive criticism. Constructive, you know what I'm saying? Don't get blocked, constructive criticism for sure. Definitely want to continue to put out content that matters to you and matters to the kingdom for sure, above all things. So, without further ado, I don't know if it's ado or do. You know what I mean. I have a special guest with me today. A lot of people know her. She's very well known to many. But to me, she is a good friend of mine. So I would like to welcome Sophia Young Malcolm to Tiffany Tales Testimony Podcast.
Yay, I'm so glad to be here.
No,
Thank you.
Hey.
Hey, what's up? Thanks
you.
for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Got you in the seat.
Got me in the seat,
Okay.
finally. Yeah.
Well, last season, I would open up and ask people the first question: who is Sophia Young Malcolm?
Ooh.
Who is you?
Who is she? Well, first of all, I am a child of God.
Come on,
We will start there. One thing that as I am getting older, I am realizing how loved I am and how cherished I am and how valuable I am in the eyes of God. And because of that, I feel free. Right, I feel free to be who I am and just be okay with that.
Yeah.
Right. But from a background perspective, I am from the Caribbean. My mom have 6 of us children. I am the 4th of the 6, and we all play sports. We all live all over the world right now. I moved to the U.S. at 15, started playing basketball there in Shreveport, Louisiana. That was an interesting time of my life.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that. I like how you said interesting. We're gonna have to roll back to
Shreveport was not what I had in mind when I thought about coming to the U.S. Right. So I came to Shreveport, played basketball for 3 years, got a scholarship to Baylor, played at Baylor, and moved on to the professional and retired from there, got married, have 2 kids.
My Lord.
Coach for a little while.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of stuff in between that.
For
but
sure.
That's just a background of where I came from and if you can get a perspective of who I am.
Just a little dot.
Just a
That's
little
just
dot.
a little
Just a
dot
little
of who you are.
dot.
I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, because you have like Sunday family dinners at your house, and someone asked me, how did I meet you? And I was just like, oh, like I went to a Baylor camp and she was there as a player, and then we connected. And so when I was thinking about saying that, I'm like, man, that sounds like I'm like, she like ancient and I'm like a baby.
Oh my God.
But
Yeah.
I was thinking about it, because I Googled you. You Googleable.
Okay.
I Googled, and so in 2006, my senior year, that's when I went into the camp, and then
Okay.
you were senior
Yes.
that year as
Yeah,
well. And
yeah.
so that's how we connect. That's the close
That's how-
time.
that's
I
the
will let
close
y'all know
time.
we close in age.
Okay.
It's not a huge gap, but
Oh, guys, yeah.
that's where I met you, because at the Baylor camp they would have little like individual groups that they would make us go with the players. And so I happened to be in your group.
Okay.
And so I was there, chatting it up, doing what I do.
I'm sure it's same. You haven't changed one bit, I'm sure.
Same old thing. But that's how I met you. But I think this past year I've gotten to know you as a friend.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's been outside of Sophia, the player, the
Yeah.
basketball player. But it's
Yeah.
been as like a friend. And it's crazy
Okay.
because I feel like, you're the coolest famous person I know. You know? I remember one time we was just walking and somebody asked for a picture. You was like, okay, yeah, you took a picture. You came back to the conversation. I'm like, hey, she didn't go like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get, what else you want? You want an autograph? You want a whole situation? But yeah, you're very humble,
Thank you.
and
Thank
so
you.
even with all the accolades and all the resume speaks for itself. But
Yeah.
I really have gotten to enjoy you as a friend, and so I'm excited to have you on here.
Oh my gosh, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here. I'm really happy that that the Lord has brought our paths back together.
Yeah.
And it could have been just the Lord bringing my husband and my kids here to Waco.
Yeah.
This is not something that I had in plan, had in
Ah,
mind.
ah.
But the Lord's plan is different from it's higher, I should say,
Yeah.
higher than my plan. So
Yeah.
we're back here,
We're back
and
here.
and things have been pretty good.
Yeah.
I've been able to connect with some pretty incredible people,
Yeah.
like you.
Oh,
So
come
here we
on.
are. Here we are.
Well, don't you? Come on. That's what
Here
I'm
we
talking
are.
about.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
let's start back.
Okay.
Let's go back to the beginning of how you were raised. Like, tell me a little bit about your background, and anything you want to share.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I am from the Caribbean, like I mentioned. I actually grew up between two churches. I grew up between a Baptist church and a Pentecostal church. And it's a different Baptist than American Baptist, right?
Talk about it. What's that like?
So the Baptist church that we grew up with, it was the head wraps and maybe more of like an African background and African heritage to it, and that was a church with like no instruments and everything was just kind of a cappella, and those could be.
Everybody sing.
Those could be good. It could be fun at moments, So I had a choice to make every Sunday which church I would go to because it was literally a Baptist church, my grandma's house, and a Pentecostal church. The Pentecostal church was more our style because they did had instruments and all this stuff and had a lot of stuff for kids. I mentioned that because we are a Christian country.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up knowing who Jesus was from the very young age.
Mm-hmm.
My mom made sure that we went to church. Now, did she go?
It's your choice.
Well, it wasn't a choice.
Yeah,
we had to go.
Y'all had to go.
But she had a choice.
Oh, must be nice. Must be nice, Mama.
Right. But grateful now.
Yeah,
Grateful
for sure.
now for the foundation there of laying that with us, and I am truly happy that my siblings and I have grown up with that understanding of who Christ is, and have siblings now who completely follow the Lord and His doing. So grew up in the church. One thing that my mom always made sure for us, I should say two things. My mom was an athlete, right, and so. She played sports in the Caribbean. She played cricket. I don't know if you're familiar with cricket. Cricket, netball, volleyball. And my mom run track. So my whole family is very much sports oriented. In fact, my youngest brother plays for our national team for soccer. And my sister played in a national team with netball. I did the same thing. So we grew up knowing sports and knowing that sports was a way out of poverty for us.
Okay.
My island is a third world country, and so I grew up poor, and I knew I was poor. You know how sometimes people are like, I grew up poor, and I didn't know it. I'm like, no, I knew.
You knew what it was.
I knew that we didn't have the most of things. But one thing that my mom always made sure that we were good at was that we will be great in sports and in the classroom.
Okay.
I don't know where she picked that up in life, or if something that was taught to her that sports was going to be our way out, and you also had to have the education behind that sport.
Okay.
And so it was those two things that got me to come to the U.S. Knowing that I was good at sports. I wasn't good at basketball, but I was a good athlete.
Wait,
right?
what?
Yeah, I didn't play basketball until I was 15. I did not like basketball as a young child because it wasn't offered in my
Because
island.
netball.
Netball,
Yeah.
yeah, netball was my thing,
Okay.
and
Which is pretty much like a
which
basket without a rim, without
yes, yeah,
a
a
backboard.
backboard, yes. Footwork's the same, hand-eye coordination's the same. You just don't dribble with
Yes.
netball, and so you catch and pass. Almost played like how it this six on six
Yeah.
back in the day,
Hmm.
where you couldn't cross certain spaces and stuff like that, and
So just
playing
passing.
skirts and yeah, passing
Wow.
and footwork and
Come on.
so I grew up playing that, and I love track.
Oh.
Track has been my first love. So
Oh.
so when I came to the U.S. and played basketball, I just run. It's like get a rebound, run, throw it up, lay up. Hey, there's no need to run play, right? So
Yeah.
that worked to my advantage.
Come on. It worked a lot in your favor. You
Worked
went
a lot,
professional.
but all the way from high school, all the way professional, doing the
That's
same thing, just running
intense.
again layups.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that something?
That easy.
So it's that easy. If you want to go pro, go track.
Just run. Just run up and down the court. Good luck.
Right.
Yeah, I knew about netball because I had a friend. My first college I went to and played ball. I had a friend from Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
And
Yes.
so she was always like netball.
Netball.
And even the way she shot like with a certain like an arch, and it was like she didn't really hit the rim. I'm
No.
like, what is with this rainbow shot you got? She was just like netball.
Netball,
Like, so that's how I got introduced to it. So I know it's like a real thing.
It
like-
is a huge thing. It is a huge thing. You played in all the Caribbean, in New Zealand, Australia, England,
Yeah.
places I think in Suriname, and I don't know if they played in Africa, but so that's what I grew up on, and basketball wasn't a thing at all.
Yeah.
So when I started playing basketball, I did not use the rim either,
Wow.
even for a layup. I just shot the ball
Nothing but
without
net. Wow.
without the backboard.
Okay.
So that's something that I had to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's crazy because your first love was track. My first love was softball.
Okay.
And basketball was my secondary.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting that we both went to college for basketball, but that was our secondary sport.
Yeah.
I love softball, but my allergies, I was already on 2 shots a week. I was swollen, all the things. So my doctor was like, you need to pick an inside sport. And I'm like, dying. So I had to go in.
Okay, had to go in.
But I love softball. And you love track?
I love track.
Did you run or what you do?
Yeah, I ran the 100, 200, and 400.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
400. 400 was my best race, but I
Okay.
enjoyed the 200. And with that, I still love to run now.
Okay,
So
yeah.
even working out and stuff, I whenever I'm stressed, I just need to go for
Just
a
go
run.
run.
I don't need anybody to talk to me. I just need to put my headphones in and go for a run. I feel a sense of peace there, and maybe that's the first love of, growing up there where it's just me and the road, me and nothing else, me and the Lord just talking. Because that's what track does,
Yeah.
you don't have anybody yelling at you.
Okay.
Across the track.
They
Can't
hear 'em.
read it.
Okay. Listen, I ran funny story in middle school. My team they didn't have their fourth person that ran the 400 had got sick.
Okay.
And so they was like,
400.
listen, we need you out here. And I'm like, man, y'all know I ain't got it. I'm a sprinter. First 200 was cool. That last stretch. It was just a huffing and a puffing. It was a huffing and a puffing. It was a sad situation.
Oh my God.
But
Did you
listen,
stand up really fast?
Listen, yeah, 'cause I'm a sprinter. They was like, pace yourself. I was like, oh no, like I'm coming. And that last 200, woo!
Oh my God.
I don't know if you see like the little giants, but there's like a chubby boy on there. He's like, It was sad day, but listen, they were still so good that they won. Like the other 3 legs was so fast that they caught them up. Because there was a deficit after me, but track was never my thing, and I used to think for sure running is like punishment. It's like, man, like if I gotta run, it's like a punishment. So not till like literally maybe like a year or two ago did I form a love of like
Really?
jogging. Like jogging. And so there's a joy in it. I get it. Like the whole freedom of like, going. So I know you're such a visual person, so you can see.
I can literally see you taking off and pretty
suffering.
much walking.
Yeah, it's suffering.
Oh my
Just
Lord.
dragging my leg.
Yeah.
All the things.
Yeah.
And
400 is not an easy race. It is not an easy race.
You got to be special person.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So with sports being a part, and I can relate to this being a part of your identity.
Mhm.
How did you work through that in the sense of when you stopped playing sports? I don't want to fast forward too much, but I also know like that part of like being so connected to
Mhm.
what you do.
Yeah.
Like how did that like form you like in the years, and like how were you able to like kind of detach yourself from
Yeah,
that
that's a really great
identity?
question. I think when it because I started sports so early,
Mm-hmm.
like I didn't know, I wouldn't say even like who I am without sports because I feel like I'm just one and the same with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a um if I don't have sports, I'm like what am I? I feel like it's just part of who I am.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like being like naturally an artist. Like it's just ingrained in
Mm.
you. So I think that I say that to say because even now that I'm retired, like working out and staying active is still part of
Yeah.
my rhythm,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like if I don't do that, that like I just feel like I'm not myself.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily like I'm not a true person if I don't do it. It's
Mm-hmm.
just part of my system and
Yeah.
rhythm of life. Um, However, whenever I did retire from basketball, there was a funeral that I had to go through
Mm.
when it comes to putting aside that career path of being on a pedestal,
Mm.
and that was challenging,
Yeah.
you know. Um, Even though I played sports growing up, excuse me, my island is not that big.
Mm-hmm.
So people knew that you play sports, but you are not on top of the world,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
right? Which is different from the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So coming to Baylor and winning the championship and getting the accolades there and being recognized
Mm-hmm.
around the country and then playing in the WNBA, being recognized around the world and that aspect. You start those things get into your head,
For sure.
and you you are in this limelight
Mm-hmm.
for so long,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when you do retire, it is literally a drop off.
Yeah.
Nobody calls you anymore. Your
Mm-hmm.
agent's not working for you anymore. You're not being seeked out anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So then that part of your identity become a psychological issue,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Um, so I think I went through a 2-year process of figuring out who I am without being on that pedestal,
Oof.
right?
Yeah.
Um, so it's not like I stopped working out or
Mm-hmm.
stopped playing or stopped being an athlete in the sense of the identity of like, okay, being a sports is in my rhythm,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just coming off of that limelight and that spotlight and
Yeah.
and people like recognizing you, like you just getting ready again for the season to start back up,
Mm-hmm.
and that's been my rhythm,
Yeah.
right? And then now I don't have that anymore, so
Yeah.
then it's just like, okay, what do I do now?
Right. Yeah.
So that was a very, very challenging time for
Mm-hmm.
me. Fortunately, I had just gotten married.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God.
Okay.
And I really truly believe that the Lord brought my husband into my life at that season
Mm-hmm.
because I needed him more than I ever thought that I would have.
Yeah.
My husband was just so kind to walk with me through that process.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that I needed a companion.
Yeah.
Because that moment is so challenging. You have a lot of former athletes go through like high highs and super low lows,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
I mean, we see it in the media now. Like people are like homeless, and
Mm-hmm.
they've lost everything because it's an identity shift,
Mm-hmm.
And so if you don't have like the right people in your life to help you guide you through that time,
Yeah.
it can be really, really challenging.
Yeah.
And so I think that my husband was really beneficial for me, to making sure that we stay connected to the Lord. We found the right people to associate with, and Him just letting me be free to go through that moaning process.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and so I didn't have people. I wouldn't say I didn't associate myself with people who was making me feel like I am lacking if I didn't be that, because
Key.
that's a
a key
challenge.
moment.
Yeah, that's a point, because people are wanting you to still be the same way, and you're not, and so then you have to like figure out like, oh, okay, like I want to be in this group, right, but I don't feel like I'm as valued anymore. So my husband was really, really beneficial for me, in that season, to just kind of allow me to go through all these different trials of, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that, start something. Yeah, no, and that's not working. Let's do this instead. Let's do that instead. And so that took 2 years. It literally took 2 years for me to like get over that space, and feeling of like, how do I come off of this pedestal and be a regular person?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
that part. It's the part of being a regular
situation, because I have experienced that. I mean, didn't become professional basketball player, but I played sports since I was 5. And so that's been like, it's like sports and you connected.
Right.
You know, people know you by your sports. People know you by your works in a way. And so it's like, after that ends, it is like what do I do next? Well, the next thing I did was play rugby. So I went to another extreme sport.
Yeah.
Because I wanted that high again.
Yeah.
You know, that same high of just like extreme, like pushing my body to the limit. And I don't know if I told you the story. Like, I was playing rugby and literally got hit in the chest, like off guard. And the thing about rugby, I don't know if anybody knows, that they don't stop the game. Like, they don't stop the play if you like get hit. They just roll you off. They just roll you off the field. I got that hit and messed up something. Like, it was swollen. And so that was it took one hit and I was done.
Like, this is it.
So that came to a halt real quick, because that was not it.
Oh my God.
But just again trying to chase that high. Man, I this brings up another thing. Me and my husband, like, we love watching documentaries and all that type of stuff. Well, Will Smith just recently put out some documentary about. It's called Going Pole to Pole, and so he's going to all the like different regions of the world and experiencing things. And there was a man that lives like in the middle of like a snowstorm thing, and he's just out there, like, just like,
by
I've been
himself?
out here, by himself, breaking records.
Okay.
But he had a football background, and so he was just like, like, I needed to push myself to a certain extent because I needed that same high, that same adrenaline feeling of just like going the distance, being, uncomfortable. I'm like, now he could have chose just in the middle of nowhere, just freezing. To each his own.
Yeah,
but do you feel like at times there's like a desire to chase a high? Like,
of course.
Of anything.
Yes.
Like a continual.
Absolutely. I do feel that way. Because I think that because for me, as a professional athlete, I was in the prime of my life, in my 20s into my early 30s in this space, and I think that season of life shapes a lot of who you become, right? And everything after that, you got to like reshape, right? But a lot of your moments in life, happen within that 20, the first, because you're on your own, you're adult, you making your own decisions, and you got to live with the consequences of it, right? Yes. And so then when you get wiser in your mid to late 30s, you're like, okay, well, we got to switch that, right? But because I think that we were in that prime of season of life, and in that prime, we were on our highest high. So then, therefore, like, you're always going to be seeking that back, right? Like, because I mean, it was amazing. It wasn't like it was detrimental or it was it was a great time. and I was like single, traveling
Mhm.
the world,
Mhm.
like doing whatever I wanted,
Mhm.
and it was a beautiful time of my life,
Mhm.
and so I long for that at times,
Yeah.
long to be back on the high, and long to be back at the space where um, people recognize me in
Mhm.
in that sense, and put it being back on a pedestal again.
For sure.
And I don't know, this is something that I pray about constantly, if that will ever go away,
Mm.
you
Mhm.
know, because again, because it happened in the season of my life where I was shaping who I was becoming,
Mhm.
um, and so it makes me long for that. And I don't know if I had gotten a high in like my 40s,
Mhm.
if it would have been the same,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
in my 20s I would have been having like a grounded
Mhm.
mindset,
Mhm.
right? And things would not have been working out the way it was in my 20s.
Yeah.
So in my 40s I would have like a better wisdom, right,
Mhm.
to not long for that. But
Yeah.
because it happened during that time
It's
of
like
my selfish nature of
right.
my life, I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I want that back.
Yeah.
Like,
Let me
no,
get a
this
cup
is
of that.
great. This was
Yeah.
this is amazing. I loved it.
Mhm.
And it benefited not just me but a lot of my family.
Mhm.
I was able to help my family financially in ways that I would have never dreamed of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, so it wasn't a bad thing at all. Like
Mhm.
it was a time of my life where I truly was able to do some amazing things
Mhm.
for my community, my family, and a lot. So yes, I long for that at times, but I feel like this time and season of my life, I have to um, navigate and wrestle with the Lord
Mhm.
to figure out who is going to be on the pedestal.
Mm. Come on, Jacob.
Yeah.
Help a Lord.
so, so that's my challenge. Like that's
how's
literally my
how's that hip
challenge.
over there? You
Yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah. Oh my God.
Oh,
So
that's
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 yeah,
that's
that's my
deep,
challenge. Yeah.
man. That's deep right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I think a big reason why I wanted to bring you on here is because we have a commonality. And the profession that you were in at Baylor was you were like like a chaplain, life coach
Mm-hmm.
slash um,
Player development,
player
spiritual
development,
leader.
spiritual
Yeah.
leader, and working with the athletes,
Mm-hmm.
young adults, and so I do that with the MCC girls.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that is a challenge is the part of like if like basketball is it.
Sure.
There's no other thought of like anything else coming,
Mm-hmm.
with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always push them to understand that it's not about what you do, it's who you are.
Right.
And this is like a bonus.
Sure.
Like to be athletic, to play, like is a gift from God, but it's also a bonus. Like
Yes.
it's not all of you, it's not holistic, all of you, it's a part of you. And so just even with identity, and us talking about that and them looking for that high,
Yeah.
um, it's like right now they're coming to an end of the season and you can already feel like the wrestling of like what's next
Right.
and like what does that look like and who am I if I don't get a scholarship, if I don't do all that. And so um, yeah, how did you encourage the girls
Yeah.
that had that question when the season was ending?
Right. Well, let me go back a little bit about my story.
Okay.
Um, when I came to the U.S., I didn't come to go to college, right?
Okay.
Because I was just like, I don't. What is college? Well, I
Mhm.
don't know. What do you mean get a scholarship? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know. I didn't have any idea about that. So what I did know is that I wanted to teach and coach. That's what I love to do. So
Okay.
I came to school with the idea that I'm going to graduate from college and I'm going to become a teacher and a coach,
Mhm.
right? Not that I'm going to make it pro. So I did have something else other than going pro
Okay.
as in my background.
Yeah.
Now, I think the difference in a lot of young athletes today is they have been taught that pro is the goal,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
And they have been encouraged and pushed forward by many different people that if they don't make it, then who are they,
Yeah.
right? So they have, and not all athletes is like this. the ones from their family culture,
Mm-hmm.
from the friendship culture
Yeah.
to make it feel that they have to make it,
Yes.
and then the pressure on the athlete to feel like they have to make it. It could also be that whether it's the parents or whomever have invested in the
Yes.
athlete,
That part.
right,
That
right,
part.
and so the athlete feel the pressure. Okay, I got to pay
I
this
gotta pay
person
them back.
back,
Yeah.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
then the pro is the way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is a very challenging season to navigate.
Yes.
I don't know if what I have said they have heard.
Mm-hmm.
There's a yeah,
That's always the
it's a
question.
yeah,
For sure.
you are in that season of life again.
Yeah.
You're in your 20s. It's a selfish season
Very
of
much.
life. It's just
Very
about
much.
you and what you want, what you desire.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's also a lot of dynamics that comes with going into the pro that they're not really willing to put forward also.
Yeah.
So it's two things. It's not just about talk. It's
Mhm.
about, you got to walk things out. And so when you try to like to navigate young people now, you have to like smooth over your words a
Right.
lot more,
Yeah.
right? You can't just be like, well, get up and go to the gym. You can't just say that,
You gotta
right?
cater. You gotta cater. You gotta sandwich it.
You gotta
know?
sound it out to make sure that their emotions are are
Attended
dealt
to.
with. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
So I think that I'm still working through that with
Yeah,
them
awesome.
and helping them in that
Mhm.
area, because it's not just them who feel the pressure. Like I feel like they're receiving the pressure from on the other outside of it,
Mhm.
and so it's not until they go through it,
Yeah, Yeah.
and not get drafted,
for sure.
and then figure out like, oh, the sun does come up. Like, wait, what? There's still people.
Mhm.
Like, there's still people. Like, wait, God's still alive. Like, he still cares. Like, wait,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then figuring out like, okay, what do I actually like?
Mhm.
So I think they have to go through that space
Yes.
in order for them to come around. And then I think that's when we'll be able to help them the most.
For sure.
But I think in the season of when they feel like they can still make it,
Mhm. It's hard.
you can't really say much,
Right.
Like, to get them to see, because like I try to think back of at myself when I was their age. I'm like, did I really listen that much? Like I try to
Put yourself in their shoes, yeah.
and not just say, okay, well, y'all should listen because, but I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, you're in your 20s, you have your whole life ahead of you, you're young, you don't
yeah.
ever think you're gonna make it to 30.
Right.
30 is so old,
Listen,
when
listen,
you
all the time.
yeah, when you're in your 20s, like
Yeah.
early 20s, 23, like 30.
Yeah.
I can't wait till
I got
30.
time for
Like,
that.
oh my gosh.
I need to be married,
30.
husband. I'm like, what? Slow down.
Right.
Slow down.
So it's not until they go through,
Yeah.
season. It will be the same thing with me when I retired. Like it didn't matter that my teammates who had retired had told me that.
Mhm.
I just needed to go through it in order
Yes,
for
so.
me to.
Mhm.
So it's something that it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
And until they go through it and almost like hit rock bottom a little
Yes,
bit, then
yes.
we're able to like pour into them to help revive
sure.
them. And the rock bottom, because we've been through it,
Yeah.
then we can say, hey, you're gonna be
You gonna be
okay.
all right.
You're
You
gonna
gonna
be
make
all
it.
right. You're
Yeah.
gonna make it. The world doesn't end,
Mhm.
right? Because you didn't make it, but there's so much more to life that
Yeah.
you can find. So I don't think it's something that we can reach them at right now.
Right.
Not at this age.
Not at this age.
Of being in college when they still have the opportunity to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good response.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely try to. I think what I try to incorporate in real time is like character building.
Mhm.
It's that part of like, hey, like who are you? And honestly, you may not know right now.
You may
and
not
that's
know,
fine.
and that's okay. That's the part of it. It's like you're 22.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I was
that
like,
you
you
don't
know what I was doing at 22? I'm not gonna tell you, but I was
Right.
doing a lot. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
yeah.
Like, there's a lot of like questioning. There's a lot
Yeah.
of thoughts. There's a lot of and
Yeah.
then social media these days,
Oh my
forget
gosh,
it. It's
yeah.
like there's so many things to look at and compare yourself to that it's just like you get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
But the part that I always try to hone in is like, hey, like this is great. Like your abilities are great. You are good.
Yeah.
You are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
at the same time, there are a million other phenomenal other girls
Right.
as well.
Yeah.
And so what if
Yeah.
not? You
Yeah.
know, some of them like, well, I ain't going back because I'm going back to the streets and all that. It's like, why would you go back? Why you want to go back to the streets? Ain't
Yeah.
nothing for the streets. You know who in the streets? People dead in the streets.
Yeah.
So no, you have a lot. So I try to encourage them
Sure.
to and what the Lord allows me to see them
Yeah.
fully, like to see their potential, to see you know, to exhort them
Yeah.
for
That's
their
really good.
purposes. And so when I do that, then they're like, I didn't think about, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's you got some time.
Yeah, I love that you just said exalt them because
Yeah,
I think um, speaking into who they are,
yeah,
while at the same time giving them room to be like, hey, I want to make the pro, or
for
I
sure.
want to go to the next level,
Hmm.
into the career,
Yeah,
and not just trying to be like take that completely away from them,
yeah.
but letting them, go through that because
Hmm.
they all do, but building up the person,
Building up the
I
person.
think that's really good.
Yeah,
I'm glad you
and
do that.
outside, but even yeah, outside of like appearance, because I always ask them, "What do you like about yourself?"
Mm-hmm.
I like my face, I like my hair, I like my smile. Like, oh, okay, great. What do you like? Are you kind? Are you nice? Like, what else do you got in there? You know, but it's always a work in progress. But I love it. I love the ability to be able to work with this group, this
Yeah.
young adult group.
Yeah.
What would you say is your like favorite? Well, a favorite group to work with. You know, when it comes to like, you know, just even like skills like like basketball and all the things. What would you say is your favorite group to like be with?
Yeah. Well, I absolutely love college age kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the group where I feel like gives me the most joy and
Mhm.
life,
Mhm.
um, because they feel like they know
Yeah.
what life is, but they don't know, and that they still need you, but at the same time they feel like they're
They're
an
good.
adult, and so you just kind of like wait, and
Mhm.
they're old enough to understand what you're
Mhm.
saying. They're old enough to make their own decisions, so
Yes.
you can impact them.
Yes.
Right? It's not the same like with your kids or
Mhm.
with younger kids. Sometimes you're like, is this too much for them?
Right.
But with college age kids, it's not too much for
No.
them. They
No.
can handle
Yeah,
the
they can
truth,
handle it. Yeah.
and they can take your advice,
Mhm.
or they can reject it,
Absolutely.
right? So and it's up to them.
Yeah.
But I sometimes I feel like I get
Yeah.
too emotionally connected, and I have to be like, hey, just
It's all right.
relax.
It's all right.
I have to relax yourself,
Yeah.
Sophia.
Mhm.
That because somebody doesn't take your advice doesn't mean
Yeah.
you got to cut them off.
Right. Oh, you don't want to listen? I ain't saying nothing else. Good luck. Good luck out there.
Right. Because like, hey, they're 22, they're
Yeah.
20, they're 18 to
Yeah.
23, like they're not going to take all your advice.
Yeah, for sure.
But you still got to be there for them to
Mhm.
help them navigate, and they're going to come back around. But that age group of people truly, truly um, draws me in and captivates my heart in that way, because I love where their mind is
Yes.
to grow and to even understand the world a little bit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They bring such fresh ideas,
Yes, they do.
right?
They
And you
do.
just like, whoa, I didn't even think about that, right?
Okay.
And so they challenge you in a way to make you question, like, wait,
Let me go
you,
look. Let me go look this
you
up.
know, right? And so you have to be mindful of what you say
Yes,
too, because they
absolutely.
hold you accountable
Yeah.
for your speech, and if you are not consistent with what you say,
Ha.
they
Let's talk about it.
yeah, they're gonna stop listening
Uh,
to you. So
absolutely.
it makes you stay on top of your p's and
Yes.
q's, and then
Absolutely.
if you're vulnerable with them, they'll be vulnerable with you.
Mhm.
They if you're kind to them,
They'll
they
be
will accept your apology when you do mess
Mhm.
up. So they definitely challenge you enough to where they won't hold a grudge for like
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
Not like adults,
For sure.
be like, well,
Mhm.
I ain't talking to you anymore.
Okay.
Cut you off, and
Okay.
then your life
Blocked, but then unblocked to look at you. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy
but
work.
their heart is still palpable enough to where you can still go back and say,
Mhm.
hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
But you do it as an adult, you be like, well, I ain't never.
Yeah, it's done. I wash my feet. I actually share the same. I love the college age too.
Yeah.
Like I've worked with elementary, I've worked with middle school. Middle
Uh-huh.
school.
I've
It's
never
a
worked with middle
special
school kids
group.
yet.
My husband loves middle school. He was like,
Okay.
yeah. I was like, amen. Because we need people like you.
Yeah, yes.
We need people like you. High school is like second close. Like it's
Second
real
close.
close, high school. But college, oh my gosh. I actually love their discernment.
Yeah.
They have a discernment.
That's right.
This group that this last group that I've been with MCC girls for like 3 years now.
Okay.
And so every year there's a new bunch of group.
Okay.
You come in and introduce myself, all the things, and I can just see the ones that are like, I don't know what she wants, 'cause I ain't about to listen to her. What she want? What she gonna say to me? And I actually get excited because it's like there's almost like I'm not trying to like persuade them or anyway, but it's like I want to win them over in the sense to understand that they could trust me.
That's so good.
And so it's like there's an excitement because it's like I know you're resistant to me right now, but the way the Lord works through me and allows me to use my gifting, there's gonna be a breaking. And then when it breaks, it's like, man, God, like, here it is. This is why I'm here. And then we can be vulnerable with each other. We can trust each other. We can have dialogue. And so I love their ability to read. Yeah. Because they, like you said, like they gonna check you and look.
They gonna check you.
Oh,
they
what?
gonna hope
They're like, what,
Pastor Tiff?
What'd you say, Pastor? And I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Forgive me. I said it wrong. Or, asking challenging questions. And so I think it's important that I look like them too.
Yeah.
That's another gift.
Yeah.
It's just like they can not only see themselves in you, but they can like see themselves in you.
Correct.
In every like
aspect.
Both. It's like same color as me. You got the same background. I went to junior college first and then went to another division after that. But it's like I can understand you in that as well.
Yeah.
And so the cool thing about it is being able to speak God into sports.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a big thing I want to kind of touch on before we shift out or anything. Why do you think it's important for God to be in sports?
I whenever it comes to sports and people and our relationship with God, I there's a question that was proposed to me before about being like a Christian athlete, and it was almost like there's two things that was separated, and so I was kind of thinking about that, and I was just like, we can't really separate it, right? You can't really, if you're a Christian, that's just who you are.
Who you are,
and whatever else you do, it's just what you do, right? But like, if I am a Christian and I'm an athlete, I'm Sophia.
Yeah.
The Christian.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I just happen to be an athlete. If I am Sophia and I'm an artist and an athlete, I don't say I'm a Christian athlete artist. Right? It's just like, that's just who you are.
Yeah.
So I think that whenever it comes to God and sports, because God is in everything,
for sure,
it's just like to separate it and to take him out of something. It's like take him out of the people and the rhythm of life.
Come on.
And I know that there are some people who don't know who God is, and so they try to stifle maybe athletes who are professing their faith, and so there is challenges there that you have to navigate of how are you going to be Christ-like in a situation. But it doesn't take you away from being a Christian.
For sure.
I think that obviously it's important for God to be in sports because we talk about identity.
Yes.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, sports is so emotional and it's so draining and it's so hard on your body, it's so hard on your mind, it's so hard obviously with social media and everything that when you are on a high, you're on your highest high and the world praises you. But when you're on a low, which you will be because it's sports, right? You will be, when you are at that low point and you figure out like what, like nobody's here.
Yeah.
Who's here but God, right? So it's like to take him out of it is just kind of saying that I'm always going to be in a high and I'm never going to need you anymore, right? And we all know that from life, whether it's just not sports, is in everything when you get on your lows. And so I think God is important in sports because because of the identity of who we are as people. And whenever life shifts to the not so great part, we need to know that we have someone that is bigger than all of this.
For sure.
That takes us out of this realm and let us know, hey, I'm still loved. I'm still cared about, right? And I know that I am going into Athletes in Action in that shift
Mm-hmm.
or in that space of mind to help with our HBCU athletes to with that same identity and understanding that um, that we need Jesus. First of
Jesus. Yeah,
all,
we do.
we need Jesus
Mm-hmm.
because life just comes at us in every aspect.
Mm-hmm.
You can be on your high, you can be on the highest high in your sports and everything is going well.
Yeah.
And then something else dramatic happens in
Yeah.
your world,
Yeah.
not the sport, but in your world.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you have to figure out, like, wait a minute, like, how is everything going so good here? But then my legs are being cut from under me.
For sure.
Like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Like, who do I turn to make sure this part of my life is okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? And to make sure that I can actually like stand on
Yeah.
something,
Mm-hmm.
stand on solid ground.
Mm-hmm. Come
Like,
on.
we need Jesus. So I
Yeah.
think it's important because first of all, and not first of all, and another thing is the sport is gonna end.
Yeah.
And so we need that identity in Christ to understand, like, that when all this is over, um, like when the light goes off and you're just laying in your bed and you just like, wait, who's here?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you're crying, or you know, you're just trying to figure out, like, what is my future? What is life?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, who can I trust? Who can I turn to?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so we need Jesus in that sense. Um, and so again, my underlining thing is we need God in sports because of identity.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna need to understand that we are loved, whether we are the star athlete or we are the one who never get off the bench, right? Who don't even get into practice sometimes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know, just knowing that we are loved, we are cared for, we are valued.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so good. That's
Yeah.
such a good response. I want to add to that. I think, you know, when it comes to why God is important, is because no nobody should be worshipped over him.
Mm.
You know, and I think when worship is to a person, you know, we can be excited about somebody, but when you worship someone over
Mhm.
God, it says no other man and nothing should be before me. That's one of the
Sure.
commandments in the
Right,
Old
right, right.
Testament. And so that worship belongs to God. And so when you can shift, and I think it's always cool when truly people do it. You know, some people practice and be like, I want to give God all the honor.
Right, right.
You know, when they win an Academy Award or something like, I'm like, yeah, you practice that. You know,
Right.
but it's like when you really are, if your gift is really submitted unto God,
Yes.
and you use your gift,
Yeah.
this gift that He gave you,
Mhm.
to give Him glory,
Mhm.
it's like it brings more people to Him
I love that.
versus you.
I love that.
And so it's just like the reason why God is important is because you don't deserve all that worship. It's like it goes back to Him.
Yeah.
And He is the reason why you're there. And
Yeah.
so He put you in that position for Him.
I love that. That's a
It's
great
not
response.
it's not for you.
Yeah.
It's for God. And
Yeah.
so ultimately all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord.
I love that.
Who
That's-
called to His purpose.
Yes.
And so His purpose, we got to think about it. It's like His purpose of putting you on that platform was for Him.
Yeah, go.
His purpose of putting you in that spotlight was for Him.
Yeah.
And so you need to do all you can do to pull
Make
it back to Him.
I love that.
It's like you don't have to become religious. Like I'm blessed and highly, you know. Oh my God, those people! I'm blessed and highly favored. Hallelujah. You know, you can be God and not speak God.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Like
yeah.
you can, like you're not gonna be. You know, hear me out. Nobody can be God, but you can be like God and not have to speak about Him.
That's right.
It's like even when I would meet with the girls, I rarely, like, there's different times where I'll pull out the Bible, let's do this, but it's like I'm trying to be like Jesus and the
Yeah.
disciples, you know,
Yeah.
like live life together, like build relationship. And so I really think a big part of why God is important, especially in this day and age when people are so entitled, where the money at, all the stuff.
All the things.
Yeah,
All the
it's like
things.
take it back to God.
Yeah.
Like I prayed it. Like how many? Hey, I prayed before this game, and the Lord just saw me through it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, no, you know, I spend many hours in the gym. You know, hey, somebody sleeping, I'm awake. You know, it just. It's like athlete, man. I told RJ I used to be on my Kanye West. You know, I don't know where he at now. Bless his heart. But it's like I had such an ego when I played, man,
Okay.
and it was so like loud, like, you know, cause people would like, I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Shot a 3, you know, like it's like sports can be so ego driven because it's like I'm producing this, so. Praise me,
Yeah,
worship
of
me.
course,
You know,
of
they got
course.
signs with your name on their faces. It's like, yeah. And so it's a setup actually to worship, get worship, to
Yeah.
worship yourself.
Yeah, of
But
course.
it's like, how can we flip that on the enemy?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, okay, you want me to be worship. You want the worship to come to me so I can feel some type of way, but I'm going to flip it and put it to God.
There you go.
What you going to do now?
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that that's a big part
I
of
love
why
that.
it needs to be implemented more, because it's shifted. It's
Yeah.
shifted so much off of, I don't even know if it's ever been.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
like, if you can incorporate that, wonder how much blessed your
Oh my
program
goodness.
would be.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm grateful for Candace, Coach Thomas, because she has allowed me to
Yeah.
bring the gospel to the locker room.
I
And
love
it's just
that.
like, man, like, I wish I had that when
Yeah,
I was growing
yeah.
up. Do you know how
Oh
much
my
better I
gosh.
would be? There's some ratchet things I did,
Just because there wasn't somebody like
Just
you
because there
coming.
wasn't
Yeah.
nobody in
I
there
get-
telling me
yes.
about the gospel
Yes.
or like living life or caring about me or anything. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's such a needed piece
It is.
for athletes to have the foundation in
Yeah,
Christ, because
yeah.
it's like, again, when the lights go out, when everything is said and done, who you got?
Who you
And,
got?
and I always think when you're on the highs is the best place, it's the best time to praise God, because when you in your lows, it's like you almost can't think of a verse. You like,
I can't even talk, Lord. I don't even know what to say.
You forget every verse that you've ever like studied, every song. Is like, I don't got it, God.
I don't got
But
it. Like,
I'm
I
grateful
just
that
need
it
you.
says in the word that moans and groans.
Sure,
Like, he even
yes.
knows the moans and groans.
Yes.
And so I'll be like,
Yeah, I don't know what to say, God. I don't know. I don't know. Please
He
come
knows.
help.
And so, yeah. And so it's like, when you're on your high, that's when you probably need to put in the most work, because it supplements when you
Sure.
don't have the words to say at the low moments.
Yeah, it's just that when we're at the high, we don't be thinking
We
about
don't be
Jesus.
thinking about
We're like,
Jesus.
Lord, I know you got me here, but great. Thank
Right.
you. You know?
Amen. That prayer life get real shrunken. It's like, oh yes, you know what? Hallelujah. Thank you, God, for waking me up. Gone.
Yeah,
But
no.
then we ain't got no. We like, Lord, why you leave me?
I don't know what to say.
You
Why
have
you gotta
forsaken
go?
me. I'm like Jesus on this cross. Why have you forsaken me, Lord? You know.
Do you even care?
And he's like, you're barely going through something. you're like, oh my leg. I'm done.
It feels that way.
So yeah,
I love that.
But God is like, I can feel, it's just, I can feel the urgency of like, put me back.
Yeah.
Put me where I need to belong.
Yeah,
and watch how things become blessed.
Yeah, I do believe whenever the Lord says go into all the world and preach the gospel, I think the sports world is definitely a space to go into to preach the gospel because of everything that you just said.
Yeah.
People being the idols that we worship, the trophies being the idols that we worship, and so there's a lot of worship in that space, and so. Excuse me. I think that we definitely need people who are on fire for Jesus to go in and share the gospel.
Yeah.
Because there's people in there that don't know who Jesus is,
sure.
right? And so they need to hear. And the sports world is prime, I believe, for the gospel to be preached, and because when you have a sports person, an athlete who's passionate about their sports and passionate about Jesus, it's a whole
attractive.
Oh gosh,
It's attractive.
absolutely. And there's no separation
Right.
anymore, right?
Yeah,
of who
it's
they
like,
are.
you
They're
know,
just like, wait, like I'm me, like he's me, he's in me, right?
Yeah.
And it's just you can't take him out
Yeah.
anymore, and so it just comes out of you. So I definitely believe the world of sports is a world
It's
that we
avenue.
need to go into to preach the gospel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have covered a lot of situations.
We have covered a lot
know
of
what I'm saying?
situations.
It's been
This
a
is
nice
great.
little situation we
I
got
love it.
here going on. Before we head out, I just want to thank you for joining me today and allowing me to just talk with you. Like this is how we talk.
This is exactly how we talk.
Little
Yeah,
regular walks
yeah.
that we have, and sitting down on the couch having conversations. So
Yeah.
this was nothing new. But I just thank you for joining me and on this platform and allowing people to know a little bit more about you. And what you got going on, and
Thank you.
and just how God has like wrecked your life. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
I do want to give you opportunity to tell people what you got going on now and like where they can reach you. if
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
interested in.
Thank you. I am truly grateful to do this. I believe that when it comes to friendship, I think it's important to value each other, and I think it's also important to support whenever your friends are doing stuff. To get behind them, to encourage them, because first of all, you just never know what God's gonna do with this platform and in your life. And so it's just it could be behind and just be like, hey, go on, God's got you, you
Yeah.
know, go on, keep going. So I'm truly happy that you've launched back into this because I think this is so you. You
Yeah.
love to talk.
Yeah.
So like, why?
She was
Why
trying to say I
not?
talk a lot.
Why not use a platform? You want to use your gifting, right?
You hear me?
You're gifted.
Come on,
right?
Lord. Use me, Lord.
You're gifted right in this space. So I'm just like, hey,
There
keep
go
going.
and talk it out.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so what the Lord has me doing right now is working, like I said earlier, with athletes in action to go into HBCU campuses. We're starting here in Texas, Texas Southern and Prairie A&M, and go in there and be a disciple, spiritual mentor to the sports programs on those campuses. So truly, truly excited about that. Um, because you mentioned earlier having people that look like you that are on fire for Jesus and that you can see that hey, this is I want to be like that, right? Rather than anything else. I'm excited because the world of sports is such a, like you mentioned, an avenue where the gospel needs to be preached,
Yeah.
and so people can figure out like, hey, I actually can give my life to Jesus and do
And
this,
do this
right?
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and do this too. Like it's not one or the
one for
other,
both.
right?
Yeah.
It's one and the same. And I don't have to put off my Christian hat to go into this space to talk. Like I can just be who Jesus has called me to be without, like you mentioned, having to like go in there and just be like, well, if you don't take Jesus now, you're going to hell. It's like, no, you can be kind. You can be
don't scare
chill
them.
out, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just really excited about what God has in store with this, and the goal will be to launch throughout the U.S. with HBCU campuses and prayerfully take them on mission trip and share the gospel that way, and hopefully go back to the Caribbean and do some athletic camps and just spread the gospel that way and be a spiritual mentor to them to walk them through their lives as they go from being a college athlete to a non-athlete to an adult and figuring out how to navigate life. Yeah. So
That
I'm
sounds
excited. So yeah, you can
awesome.
find me on my social media on Instagram or on LinkedIn and Facebook. So yeah.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Come on, world peace.
World peace.
Changing the world. One play at a time.
One play at a time.
Well, thank you for being here. Love you. Love you down.
Love you.
Love you down. Love you down. But
I'm
we
excited.
will be in touch. And guys, check her out and check out the next episode. See you next time. Holla.